Welcome everybody to another edition of Hurry Up. I'm your Don Juan of Sports. Adam, let's get right into it. I know last week we talked about the draft. It was great. People were asking, "Hey Adam, what do you think about the New York Giants and their draft and you know the Jets draft?" I think the Jets did pretty well. I think their first round pick is really like a Vernon Gholston type pick. He either is going to be a boom or a bust. So it doesn't really to me it's not about I mean, they got a great talent. They got top 10 talent where they got at 16. It fell to him. So we'll see how he does. Stephen Hill, I think that's the threat that they need to really. I mean, I know San Antonio Holmes is blows the top off a defensive player, but if you got a guy who's 6'4", 6'5", that can do it, it just makes your offense that much greater. As for another team I want to touch on Denver. I think what they did with their quarterback situation was good. They got a quarterback to groom themselves in second and third round. They got they got Osweiler from Arizona State. I think it's a good pick. I think Peyton Manning's going to be there probably at minimum 2 years. At minimum 2 years. I think at max 4 years. So you're going to have a little bit of time for this guy to sit here and grow his football acumen, grow his football, you know, background. So I think that was a good pick. As for the Eagles, yeah, that's right. The Eagles, they did a good job. They have Fletcher Cox in the first round. They really did well this draft. They really revamped their team. Someone was telling me about the wide nine. The wide nine for them, they should not run a wide nine. They should do a wide nine on one side and regular D on the other. That way, one side, and you can switch it up, so you'll never know. And then when you're like third and 18, you can go to the wide nine. I think the wide nine is what killed them. They didn't get enough push up front, but you also did see they did come together at the end. So they did pretty well in the draft. I also like the Browns draft. I think Brandon Weeden is going to be good for them. I also think Trent Richardson is the back you need. People talk about you need a two-back system. You need a good back to scare the defense so then you can open up a lot of things. Which will bring me to my next team, the Giants. If you saw the Giants picked David Wilson. Now, David Wilson may not be your top guy, but he opens up the defense with his speed. He runs a 4.4. Okay, that's pretty fast. So he can take a 20-yard gain to the house. You know what I'm saying? Where Brandon Jacobs would take a 20-yard gain and need a gaping hole to take it 70 yards, this guy's going to take it 70 yards in the blink of an eye, which is going to make you say, okay, well, we want to double team the receivers, so we're going to, we know that the Giants, the dynamic of what the Giants offense can be with this kid if he pans out is, okay, you're going to beat us with your receivers. We're going to double up those guys with our four guys back there. So you're going to have to beat us with your tight ends and your running backs. And then if they start running the football again, then it's like we got to bring 8 in the box. And then you got to Keem Nicks, Cruz, maybe even Ruben Randall, the guy from LSU. They got, I think, who I'm excited about. Got a little bit of football acumen with the routes. Then you open them up, and Martellus Bennett for the seam routes and everything like that. So I think you're going to see what the Giants did in their draft. New York fans is they did what they had to do on defense via free agency. They did what they did in the draft. They got their offense and they're thinking about the future. They signed Kiwanuka long term. They're giving Keith Rivers a one shot deal to say, hey, if he works out, we'll sign him longer. You got Victor Cruz. You probably drafted Victor Cruz's replacement in Jarrell Jernigan. And you're going to have Ruben Randall, who's going to be your big guy on the outside. So you're going to have Nicks, Randall, and Jernigan at one point, if they keep Cruz, because Cruz may price himself out of there. I hope he doesn't. We'll see what happens. These are questions for next offseason, but you get what I'm saying. Now, if you bring a dynamic back like a Dave Wilson, it allows you that flexibility. And there was a song about Darkwing Duck. The words go, if you're in trouble, call DW. Well, that's what the Giants are going to be doing a lot of. When they're in trouble, they're going to turn and hand that ball to DW, David Wilson. So that's my take on the NFL draft. Let's get into the playoffs real quick. The Knicks are getting lamb-basted. You don't ask, you won't receive. You know what I'm saying? You asked for Miami, you got Miami. Miami's kicking their butts up and down the basketball court. I don't care what anybody says. This series, to me, is over. They may win a game if they're lucky, but I think it's over. They have no dynamic players. I mean, Wade went off last game. LeBron is absolutely unguardable. Even their hustle, even their bench is playing well. The Knicks have shooters. They'll either shoot themselves in the game or shoot them out. They can play defense when they come together. But Tyson Chandler's sick. Amari Stoudemire is coming back from injury. We'll get to him in a second. Carmelo Anthony, who's the best player on your team, is not producing. at the same level because he's expanding energy on both sides of the ball now. So what energy he is giving you on defense, he's lacking on offense. So you got to give or take, and obviously want to play D because you're a top defensive league team, and you lost Shumpert, which is a big blow because he's a wing player, long, lanky, can defend on the perimeter, and you don't have that guy anymore. Novak can't do that. Tony Douglas, if I were Mike Woodson, I might put in Douglas if he's still around and he's not in the doghouse. Say, hey kid, give us some minutes. We're gonna use your length. We're gonna use your point guard ability. Give us some minutes. Just because I wouldn't use Bibby myself, that's what I would do. But I'm not Mike Woodson. But let's get into Amar'e. Amar'e, if you haven't known, punched something that was glass, fire extinguisher. Why would you do it, Amar'e? Why would you do it? The team needs you. You can't be frustrated like that. You're a team leader. I understand why he's doing it. He's frustrated by his role. He's frustrated that it's not his team anymore. He's frustrated in his ability that he can't play basketball anymore at the same level anymore. He's 29 years old. He feels like he's a 40-year-old man out there. So, and he can't coexist with Carmelo because Carmelo is now playing his spot. So you have to kick him to the thing. He would be better off. He's going to have to come off as a bench player like a Jermaine O'Neal. That's what eventually Amar'e Stoudemire's career is going to be. That's right. It's going to be a Jermaine O'Neal type of career. Either A, it's going to end up with him coming off a bench and giving people adequate minutes and not doing anything, meaning he doesn't have to play defense, just come in and score, or he's going to be a Jermaine O'Neal type of thing where he's just going to be taking up space in the middle for you. But what he did was selfish and childish and playing stupid. Now you take yourself out. They ruled him out for the series. So if you're out for the series, that's one of your best scorers. It's kind of hard when it's one of your best scorers to really, to really justify this. If it were like a Baron Davis, some scrub, you wouldn't care. You probably wouldn't even hear about it. This is Amar'e Stoudemire. Everybody is watching you. This is where you needed to come through, big man. And unfortunately, you brought your team to the playoffs last year. This year, you've been hit by injuries. You look selfish. You don't look like you want to be there. Your time may be up. Let's head over to a couple more other series. San Antonio is doing well. They're going to beat Utah. Utah is going to be a good up-and-coming team. Watch out for them. Denver against LA. Denver's getting run out the building. I think they have a chance in this series, but a very slim one due to LA's length. The series that I like the most, OKC. They're dominating. Chuck, I heard you, man. You said they can't win. We'll see. That's why they play the games. They said that they won't be able to get to the championship. They're looking real good right now. We'll see how they do in Dallas. They got to steal one in Dallas to get the home court back. Over on the East, Derrick Rose out. I still think the Bulls are going to still make it to Eastern Conference Finals. If not the Finals, they played well without Derrick Rose. I know Derrick Rose is dynamic and he's going to give you 20-some-odd points and 8 or 9 assists. But now you're just going to have to get that from a collective group of point guards. And we'll see where they go. Boston, they look a little bit done in this series. I know they're playing Atlanta. They just lost Rondo. They look a little bit done, but you can never count Boston out with their veteran leadership. Indiana looks like they're going to have fun with the series. Can't count out Orlando, even though Orlando's psyche might be messed up because their best player is gone. So the Eastern Conference is very much up for grabs. I think it's going to be Miami's to win. I don't think anybody really can beat them now that Derrick Rose is out. On the West, I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to come down to OKC and San Antonio. I really do, and I think San Antonio is really going to want that spot. Get into the hockey playoffs. Devils and Rangers and Flyers. If you're that team, if you're in these three regions, you're loving it right now. The Devils. I think the Devils are going to win their game 2. I really do. I really believe it. I think the Rangers are going to beat the Washington Capitals. Even though they lost last game, they had ample opportunities to score. Couldn't put it in the back of the net. I think they're overall the better team. I know that everyone knows that, but watching the game, talent-wise, you can just see the talent is better on both ends of the ice. As for Philadelphia, Philadelphia is the better team, obviously. But I still think the Devils can win some games. So look out. You've got this bonanza going on. And we haven't even talked about baseball, but that's going on too right now. It's not as relevant right now because you got the playoffs in hockey, the playoffs in the NBA. You just had the NFL draft. There's so much going on. Your brain may ooze out your ears. I'm the Don Juan Sports. I'm the host of the Hurry Up, the Don Juan Sports. Adam. That has been my take on what's going on. See you soon, folks.